and they are seeing that, hey, listen, publisher adds a value. Second is coming that I have no other option. I have knocked every doors for fundraising and nothing is happening. And third, are we saying that I want to just get the money out, I don't care how. So the third one is what we don't want to deal with, yeah, because they are willing to quit. The second and the first one will be welcome.
Okay, I have one quick question, after which we can move to audience questions. We'll make sure we have enough time for audience questions too. This is a very open-ended sort of question. Can you tell us, in your experience with user acquisition and marketing on mobile so far? I'm sure we typically, you typically go in with some assumptions as you set up a campaign and you launch a product, and then you keep adjusting your parameters, your spend, your targeting, based on what you're getting out of that campaign. When you start off with a bunch of assumptions of this kind, have you recently learned something or come across something that surprised you? Encountered some phenomenon, some trend that you thought was surprising or interesting in some way?
Let me start. I think one of the things which has pleasantly surprised me is the conversions, or let me say not conversion, propensity of the users to look at video ads, especially in the developed market, not in the Indian market because the 3G speed sucks. However, in the developed market, you understand the game when it's a video, and the developer also kind of puts the best foot forward in creating that game video. And the conversion which I'm seeing from there is really, really exciting, very, very exciting. Second thing which obviously by now it has become buzzword is offer walls and incentivize UA. I think there are a lot of innovations happening there beyond just cannibalizing through other games or looking at Facebook likes or something. That is again an innovation which I've seen in US really working very nice. But however, my kind of pick would be the video advertising and the conversions from video advertising is awesome for me.
Raja?
Yeah, so some data points that have surprised us is the amount of installs that happen on cellular network. So initially, like we always used to think that primarily people are downloading on Wi-Fi in India, but the kind of data that we've seen has really surprised us, wherein 80% plus kind of downloads happen on cellular networks in India. So though there are issues in terms of the cost of data and the how prevalent the data networks are there everywhere in the country, but still people are increasingly installing, so they are not very afraid of let's say using a 3G or a 2G network to download even a heavy app like Line, which is like 22 MB plus. So, which is very encouraging, as in people are actually using the mobile as it should be, as in on the go, and which is a great stuff which is happening, across.
So when you started to say, the amount of downloads on cellular network, I kind of assumed that you were talking of US or developed market. And when you said in India, then I realized yes, that is indeed a surprise, because I did not know this.
Yeah, so and plus, if I just throw some more, the kind of spread that we see with operators, we see the same, as in the number 1 is Airtel, 2 is Vodafone, 3 is Idea, 4th is Reliance. So which is there even in the download patterns plus our usage patterns, and increasingly people are using the cellular network. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The video ads work very well because only the engaged audience will download your app. But the important phenomena that I observed is if you optimize your Facebook ads for CPI and CPC, you can rank on App Store with a decent budget, a budget a bootstrap company can afford.
Okay. So we'll move to audience questions.
So you guys are on the opposite side of the previous panel. I mean, you're not technically on the opposite side, as in you care about monetization of your apps too. But let's assume for a second that your money that you spend on acquisition is the main focus of this thing. So I just want to ask you, like, as you said, everybody's claiming my shirt is whiter than the next guy's shirt. So whose shirt do you think is the whitest? In other words, where is your money going to go in the long term? VServe is saying that we are focusing on data, and data is going to solve all these problems for people trying to acquire users. And somebody else is saying offer wall is working, and somebody else is saying video ads are working. So I think that you're saying that video ads are working the best, but wherever your money is going, that's the advertising network I want to use for monetization. So what would that be?
So it's not one network here, and it's impossible. It's impossible because, as I said, different targets, you need to have a different ad network. B, if you want a certain scale, not one network can really go and fulfill that need. Yeah. So there is never going to be one ad network, even if it's an AdMob or whosoever it is, that's going to really fulfill your requirement. You'll have to really go and experiment into multiple things. And as I think Ankur or Rajat was saying, that quickly figure out where are you getting 1, 2, 3 ad network sweet spots and kind of really spend. However, what we have seen, even those sweet spots have a shelf life. It's not that they continue to be a sweet spot forever. And quickly kind of keep a hawk eye, and that's why that 20% budget thing is what you need to keep on looking at new channels, so that whenever this the diminishing return starts for that particular thing, you shift to another one. So there is never going to be one thing. Whatever previous panel said, everybody is right, but as we say, there is no absolute truth and there is no absolute false. Yeah.
Okay, another quick question for you only. You said that the first thing that we look at as soon as we launch is the KPI, and then we'll decide, do we want to pump in the big money, etc., etc. So at which point do you say, okay, this is the one metric that I look at? If it comes anywhere short than this, then we are obviously not going to pump in the money. So what would you say is the most important figure, and what that level is?
So I think for me, in the initial part, let's say we are talking about, let me kind of break your question into 3 parts. We are talking about day 3 of the launch. Now in day 3 of the launch, I will look at progression metrics. That where is my gamer, how far has he or she progressed in the game. Because in day 3, it's very early for me to really make any comment on monetization or any day 3 retention. Let's take, we are looking at the data at day 15. Then to me, day 1 retention is most important. Because if you get 100 people and if you are only retaining 20, 30, then your sieve is practically very big. And then you are kind of getting all your users gone. So that in your business model, you have to keep on getting new users while your existing users are just leaving you, right? So on the day 15, I will look at retention metrics. On the day 30 or day 45 is when I will look at monetization metrics, right? That is how my country testing cycle is from day 0 to day 30 or day 45, whatever time period. Now, once I have understood that, then from an LTV calculation, what is important to me is an ARPDAU. Is that how much of money that download, you understand that. Now if I have that, let's say, just giving you perspective, if I have a retention of day 30, roughly 20-25%, which is what your COC or Candy Crush or something of that sort will really have. And if an ARPDAU of 13, 15, 18, 20 cents, right, you can... So there is nothing called most games because it is a genre specific thing. So your RTS, your builders, your puzzles have a higher retention. Your action is a lower retention because the consumer is a psychologically different. It's a male which is very impatient and wants to just burn through the content and or gets fatigued very quickly. Versus builder is a more patient job and you are wanting to wait for 12 hours for your headquarter to upgrade, talking about Boom Beach, let's say. So it's a different psychology and hence different rate. But let's say if you got a day 30, 10% retention, you've got a great game, right? Once you've got your retention numbers and you've got ARPDAU numbers, And if they are right, like I spoke, 13, 15, 18 cents, and you have got 10% retention, I think you can go to a CPI of $2, $3, $4, $2, $3 per install in a US market, or any market for that matter, could be a good safe bet for you to invest. Because ultimately it's about what is the cost at which you are willing to bid, and hence what happens. However, if your day 30 retentions are 1%, 0.5%, and your AMDA is 3 cents, 2 cents, then I think they will have a problem. Yeah.
Hey, this is Sridhar. I have two questions for you. One of them is, assuming I have a pretty good LTV and I'm making, I've soft launched and I figured out all the KPIs and all that, and I, being a first-time developer, I have limited budget. I can't blow it, so I can't obviously run burst campaigns on this. So I probably would want to do sustained promotion. And say if I have 300,000 a month budget, say if I have a 300,000 budget, 300 a month budget, how would I probably split it up between networks like Facebook, Twitters, or ad networks in Mobis and Google, or RTBs, or your cross promotion networks like Chartboost? How would you probably go split up your budget within these networks?
I have one fundamental question, and I'll have question. Why do you want to burn your own money? Get a publisher to burn the money for you. And it's not a hard sell because I'm a publisher, but that's what I will do as a practical person. Because $300,000 may last you till some time. After that, again, you will be, whatever cash you have generated, you will plow back into it. And then you will get into that cycle of a UA and sustaining through UA. When will you focus for your live operations? When will you focus on community management? When will you focus on running every other thing? So to me, mobile gaming, the launch is the beginning of the problem, not end of the problem. And like the scenario which you described, if the game is success, then game demands feature updation, content updation, sales promotions, community management, all of that it needs. So that is one advice for me, from my side. But keeping that aside, let's say if you have a $300,000 to spend, I really do not have a flow chart to kind of start with, but I would try these three things first. I would try, assuming that you still are looking at the target for rank. Your target is not LTV because that KPI is already established. Yeah, you're looking for a rank. You should go for an incentivized advertising so that you can rise higher on the charts, and you can look at a 30, 40 cents across the world. Whosoever can give it to you. The other thing which we have noticed 1 year, 1.5 years back, the algorithm of rank used to be purely dependent on all your downloads. However, they have become smarter. And because developers had understood that this is the only thing, now they have added your paid user conversion, they've added your ratings, reviews, and the downloads as a combination. And I really do not know what are the weightages, but that's what they've added into the ranks. So that it's not just the getting incent downloads, which will help you. But my thumb rule would be it's safer to start with an incent advertising, get yourself high in the rank, get more people out there, and then kind of figure out. And this holds true more for Android than for iOS. So that is how I will start spending my money. And let's say after 300, I've done 50 or 100 on incent. Then I see what is my retention. Have my KPIs worsened because I'm getting lower quality users? And then do I want to spend on networks like Fixu, or I want to spend on the networks like Chartboost or Tapjoy to kind of get higher LTV guys? Or Facebook, for that matter, gets you very good LTV people. So I will first get high in the rank, whatever target I've set, then shift my spends to LTV. In the meantime, keep an eye on the rank, because the rank may start slipping, number of downloads have come down, and hence start a non-incent also. So that's how I will plan your campaign if I was doing that.
Cool. That brings me to the second question. Assuming it's a fine line, right? I mean, if you're making $5 LTV, then probably it's a no-brainer to go with a publisher. If you're making $3, then probably not worth giving 50% of your revenue to a publisher. So it's a decision they have to probably make. But that said, because we're talking about a smaller studio and they have limited budget, burst campaigns are scary because you put it out there, even 30 cents, you want 200,000 downloads to end up in the charts. We're talking about $60,000. And that's like, that's probably the budget most people have, right? And if your app doesn't, or game doesn't have the holding power, then it drops, right? It's scary. So that's where, that's a trend, we've been noticing big studios do that, right? The games show up in the charts for like a couple of days and then disappear for 2 weeks and then they show up. So my question there is it really worth it? I mean, showing up in the charts, or shouldn't they just, shouldn't a developer be very safe and only go for quality users?
So risk appetite, purely a function of. As I said, if I were there, if I have great KPIs, I will go to App Store merchandiser. I'll try to go to the journalists, go to Pocket Gamers, Touch Arcades of the world, show my game, try to get a lot of buzz from there. Go to the App Store guys and try to showcase. I will not spend my money because I've got great KPIs, and that is a great sell sheet, and nobody can talk better than data. Yeah, so that is the first thing which I will do. That will get me promotion, ranks, downloads, whatever it is. Then to sustain ranks, it's a question of how much money and free cash I have and how much can I deploy back on LTV versus ranks. Yeah, so I would not spend my money upfront if I got great KPIs.
We probably have time for just one question.
Hi, I am Dhruv. I work with Apps Daily. We are a retail app store and we are present in more than 10,000 stores. So initial customer acquisition, we are fine with that. My question to you is, typically for Indian market, when we have less than 2% credit card penetration, how do you go about, say, Boom Beach, when you have an impulse buying? How do you go about impulse buying in that?
So that is the reason why India market is not monetization. You make 10,000 rupees in India market and top grossing. On that day, you are in top 1 through 3. That's the core problem in the India market, is that last mile payment, till the time that gets solved, we will not have a very strong domestic gaming market. And that's the one reason which segregates us from whether it's a US, Korea, Japan, China, any other market. From a sheer number of smartphones, we will be there, sheer number of downloads, we will be there. But till the time this 2% credit card, and imagine for 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5 rupee, I'm not going to put my credit card, have an OTP, password, double check, all that stuff. I'll say, fuck it, yaar, this is not worth it.
No,
right?
Initially, our customers typically buy our games at a price point of $20.
Correct.
But further buying becomes a very tough task.
Correct.
So
my suggestion for you is, why don't you give a top up to them? When you're selling at $20, sell $10 more. Like in my game, it can be unlimited coins which I can give them by virtue of those $10.
Yeah, but that impulse buying when you are stuck at a level.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a coins, right? It's a wallet.
Yes.
Along with, once you activate the game is activated. And those coins are lying unlimited for you. Then that impulse buying is continuously happening because I've given you so much. It's like when we develop the games like cheat code. We have the cheat codes, we don't feel the pinch of payment. The impulse behavior will happen, but what you're removing is the constraint of availability of money.
Thank you.
We're done, I think.
Hi. So when it comes to user acquisition, you have the Indian market and you have Western markets, right? Obviously, Western markets are where one can make more money. So have you guys seen any differences in if you're making content for Indian market and Western market? Like, what are your insights as to what works there? If I want to focus on the Western market, right, and I have a product which I think is more suitable for that, what do you think would be the difference in strategy to adopt for trying to sell in the US, Canada, whatever?
I think couple of parameters. One is, first and foremost, is client size. India, I think the sweet spot is 20-25 MB, and that's where your on-the-go downloads happen, because there are very few Wi-Fi hotspots in this country, and offices will not really appreciate if a lot of people start downloading lots of stuff. Yeah, so 20-25 MB is one. Second is the expectation of the Indian audience is more casual in nature still.
I'm sorry, I meant if I don't want the Indian audience, if I want a Western audience.
Okay, you want a Western audience. So Western audience, again, it's a segment which you need to first define. Like you are going for a mid-core, you're going for a casual, or you're going for an ultra-casual.
Action. Like
Action.
I'm going for someone who wants to get into an action game, someone who wants like a mid-core.
So I think what you need to do is you need to have, if you want to make money, you need to have a meta game. And strategy plus action is only thing which is going to make you money. Only action is never going to make you money. So that's a very simple answer to your question. Easier said than done. And that's what the game designers kind of really struggle every time. How do I get a right combination of meta games and the gameplay weave together? But action games, consumers burn through. And the second thing is consumers burn through the content very fast, the whales. And hence you need to either have a lot of content at the launch or be ready with your updates very quickly. I think these are the two things which we have learned doing action games for last 2 years.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, everyone.